Okay, so this is part 2 of Aquarius versus Narcissist. So I told you guys everything that happened up until October. So now it's the second week in October, and I'm still very hurt on the inside. Hannibal just don't know. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I almost caught a case. But I'm gonna explain that later, okay? But yeah, let's just get started. My name is QueenAusetHeru, and thank you for joining me for a wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to anyone and everyone who might like it too. Please drop us some comments in the comment section. Let me know, have you ever been through something as bizarre as this story that I've been through. And if you want to get a reading done, please email me or hit me up on social media. I would love to give you a reading. Okay? All right, so I'm devastated. I'm crying and I'm angry. Okay? And it's weird because when I went through a similar situation with Voldemort, I was angry and sad, but I was more sad than angry. This time, I'm more angry than sad. Both things, but more anger. And it got so bad in that third week of October, I called my squad and I was like, I'm going to go fuck him up. I was like, I got money for a plane ticket. I'm going to go beat his ass. And my friends was like, yo, what happened to Queen Auset? What happened to, the peacemaker? I'm like, yo, I'm ready to fuck him up. I know where he works at. I know the kind of car he drives. I'm going back to Cali. And I called my squad in Cali because he don't know I have squad in Cali. I called my squad in Cali and I was like, I'm pulling through. We're going to fuck this bull up, okay? This is how upset I was. Almost caught a case in California. But by the time I had the money to take this trip, which is about a week later, my friends had talked me out of it. They had talked me off the ledge, okay? And said to me, you can either do this the hard way, the unproductive way, or you can turn this pain into wisdom like you always do. So they talked me down. God has talked me down. The angels talked me down. And what I did was I got some things. I got some resources. This is the first one. Let me show this to you. This is called Into the Lonely Woods. It's a journal of blessings and solitude. I already had it. And the reason why I like it is because it has the most beautiful pictures in here. This Into the Lonely Woods is actually a deck that I use for my clients. And those kind of pictures are all throughout here. But the other thing I like about it is that it has quotes at the bottom of each page. Let me show you. And this book is really for people who are going through sadness or hurt of some kind. So every time I would do something in here, there's one of these beautiful quotes at the bottom. And it says, your soul knows the way. That's one of them. Some of them are longer, some of them are shorter. Let's see. This one says, others like you are experiencing an awakening. So I got this so I could use it. And then me and my best friend, my buddy, she's also a Libra, we bought this book. Now, a lot of you have seen me show this book on my page. I've shown it and talked about it because I love it so much. And every day we did one exercise from this journal, okay? And gradually my anger came down, my hurt came down, my sadness, everything just came down. I cried off and on from October until February. In October, as a matter of fact, when I came back on the plane, I cried all the way from California to Costa Rica. I cried a lot. Cried a lot. And I thought it was lethargic. It was therapeutic to get the energy out because it was a lot of hurt and there was a lot of anger there. So I'm like, well, let me just let it get out. So I cried and I worked on my book, one exercise a day with my BFF. And I had therapy sessions regularly. What else did I do? I prayed and I meditated like I always do. And I pulled cards on myself and on this situation. And I could see very clearly that choosing myself was the whole purpose. So then I was like, okay, all right, that's the purpose. So I'm choosing myself. And let me show you two other resources before I go into the next part. This one just came today. When we finish the other one, we're going to do this one. So, like I said before, resources can really help you when you've been in a situation. And this is the other one that came today. Underneath this video, these are the resources I'm going to put. It's going to be underneath part 1 and this part 2. And any other resources, because I have some other ones too. So I just started to read. I started to write. Oh, and I started to watch videos on narcissists and really understand what this covert narcissist was, why this happened, why he was so bizarre, all those kind of things. So that is really what helped me to come to the other side. Working with these was really helpful. And talking to my friend and all the other things that I was doing is how I got through it. One step at a time, one day at a time, right? So finally in February, I stopped crying, which is awesome. Because with an Aquarius, when we get to the point where we don't care anymore, that's when we're almost over it. So I'm very pleased about that. All right. So if you're somebody who has gone through something like this, I do suggest getting some resources. Yes. I suggest talking to a professional. Yes. Because remember what I said about turning pain into wisdom? These things happen because we need to learn something or do something. A lot of times what we're learning here is self-love. And I know for me, it was choosing myself. Because after this happened in October, I had 3 more people I ended up having to kick to the curb. One was a love interest. One was a friend of me. And one was, I don't know what the hell she was. I don't know what she was. But in every single situation, when I looked at the cards and when I talked to it with my friends, it was the same lesson. Self-love. Choose yourself. Because as an Aquarius, I'm more likely to want to fix things than to just choose myself and leave them alone. And sometimes, especially when you're dealing with a narcissist, you have to do that. Now, those other 3 people, I can't say they were narcissists or not because it wasn't a very, tight relationship. But I did see in them that it was something wrong. And normally I would try to fix it. I would try to talk through it. But something told me, don't do that. You're almost 50 years old. I just turned 47. And something told me, don't do that no more. Don't keep giving these benefits of the doubt. When you see that somebody ain't shit, just accept that they ain't shit and leave them alone. So after him, it was 3 more times up until February that this occurred. And each time I got a little quicker. I got a little quicker at picking up on, oh, this is about choosing me. Okay, I'm out. Okay. So they say that after you get a lesson, the universe then wants to see if you really got the lesson. Okay. And in these cases, yes, I did really get the lesson. So this is how you can deal with something like this. Figure out what the lesson is for yourself. And it could be the same thing. It could be self-love. And then allow yourself to get some resources. Most people need resources to heal. You're not just going to be able to say, okay, well, time will heal it. Because time won't heal it. Time will make the pain subside, but it's not going to be a true healer. All right. Now I want to read some survivor statements because you've heard my story. You've heard how I got through this and what I did about it. Now I want to read some survivor statements so you can see that other people, how they're dealing with the same kind of energy. The first statement comes from Greg. Okay. And Greg is a Virgo. Greg said, you can use Greg as my name. 20 years with the narcissist fucked me up bad. It damaged my brain for sure. Healing is taking a long time and is not easy at all. The trauma bond was a fierce addiction. Quitting tobacco was a piece of cake compared to giving up my narcissist. Even after a year of being out of the relationship, I'm definitely suffering from the effects from what happened over the course of 20 years. Because some narcissists are covert, sometimes it takes us longer to realize they're covert. Also, in this case of Greg, some of the times we don't want to give them up because we're trauma bonded to them. So we're bonded with this person in pain. If you don't know what trauma bonds are, Google it because you need to read about that. That's really important. A lot of us stay with people out of trauma bonds. The next one here, let's see. This is a Libra, and she said, I was with a narc for 6 years, and then his mask fell off. Remember I said covert narcissists wear a mask and they hide who they are? That idealization, love bombing stage can last years. Sometimes 1 or 2, but sometimes more, depending on how good they are at it and how far you are away. A person with a long distance relationship is going to be easier for them to hide behind that mask. When the mask came off, I was destroyed by the shock of the fact that he was not the same person. Still healing and coming to terms with that. So, for me, remember I said I thought Hannibal was my friend? That was the mask he was wearing. He was wearing the great guy, supportive guy, I'm your friend mask. And just like in this situation with this Libra, now we see how painful that is. The next one here says, code name Melissa. Melissa said that she was with this narcissist for almost 2 years. The situation caused me to isolate myself and not trust anyone. After you've been with a narcissist and have been abused by a narcissist, some of the times it makes you scared, like, oh my God, what if I meet another narcissist, And you might, they're out there narking. What are you going to do? So Melissa said that because of that, she basically doesn't trust anybody and cuts people off. A lot of people in the comment section tell me that they're not dating. And for some of them, this is the reason why. The next one I have is from Blue Equinox. Blue Equinox is also a Libra. Blue Equinox said, I know a lot of Libras. I know. I know. I was in the relationship for 6 years. Between the love bombing that would happen when they needed something, to the icy silences that would drag on for sometimes weeks when I didn't do or react in the way they thought I should or would. I literally thought I was losing my mind. I'm still very broken, and now I've formed the nasty habit of self-sabotaging any meaningful connections with potential partners. So again, keeping himself separate in this case. Cut off, sabotaging something that could even be good, because this abuse has damaged them to that point where you just how you touch the stove and it's hot and you don't want to touch it again? That's what it feels like. This one is from Ron. Hi, my name is Ron, Aquarius. I was with my narcissist for 34 years. The worst part is I was so in love with her that I wasn't aware she was a narcissist. See how good they are at hiding it? I was made to believe I was the one. Now I am a loner and put family members at arm's length. I don't trust people. So for a lot of us, unfortunately, and I'm not doing this, by the way, I'm moving on. I will not allow any of these people to harm me to the point where I don't go after what I want. But for a lot of people, especially before they've healed from it, this is the response that we get. And what's interesting with this is that the narcissist had him believing he was the narcissist. This is a very common trick with narcissists. That's why I said be careful, because they will gaslight you. If you say, I think you're narcissistically abusing me, they'll say, oh, everybody's a narcissist. No, they're not. Not at all. Or they'll say, oh, you're overreacting. Why would you say something like that? This is the kind of energy we get from narcissists. They're constantly lying, habitually, pathologically, compulsive liars. And as soon as you're onto them, because they don't want to be found out, as soon as you're onto them, that's when the lying and the nastiness really amps up. The next one is from Rose Quartz. Rose Quartz is a Cancer. Rose Quartz said, met him on my last day of vacation on my first cruise. We spoke on the phone daily for a couple of months before planning a trip for him to visit. We had so much fun. Extended the trip beyond the 4 days, and he stayed a few months, traveling to several states with me while I worked on consulting assignments. Why not? After all, he was a self-professed entrepreneur, which means he ain't had no job and had time to wander around with her. The Whirlwind Romance was a production of love bombing, gaslighting, cheating, accusations, put down comments to make myself feel bigger, telegraphing his disrespect of women. This got old, real fast, and the infatuation dried up quick, and I was ready for him to go. Because it was time for him to go back to his business, and that was my plan, let him come and in after he made his way back home. But it all came to a head before he could even make it to the airport. One night he was troubled as to why my body was not responding to him. I gave him an honest answer, noting actions and words by him earlier in the day that gave me pause. He went into a violent rage, resulting in a physical altercation, ending with his arrest and deportation. Being a proud and private woman, I was left traumatized, embarrassed, and ashamed. Traumatized from the abuse of him puncturing an exercise ball with a screwdriver, realizing how close I came to being stabbed that night. Embarrassed as my two best friends assisted me cleaning my house and changing the locks for my peace of mind. Ashamed, thinking my father did not raise me to be a woman that appears to have not defended herself properly against such an attack, as he supportively watched me testify of the incidents on the witness stand in court. I opted not to test if I could out crazy the crazy that night. I later found out that the narcissist was diagnosed with other mental health issues and was not taking his meds during the time he was with me. But what I know now is that the embarrassment and shame I wore, I put on me, and was not at all any reflection of the view my family, friends, or loved ones have of me. We're all happy I'm here and that I survived. So as you can see, sometimes these situations can turn deadly. She could have gotten killed from this situation and had to go to court, and the embarrassment of that and the trauma of that. So, and the shame, like, feeling that way. I mean, all of that is emotional abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, just abuse across the board. The last one, it says, my name is Nicole, Aquarius, and emotional abuse has controlled my life for decades. Notice how so many of these last for so long. They're so good at keeping you trauma bonded. They're so good at gaslighting you, manipulating you, and keeping you in their little prison. It's really sick how they do this. It has made me not trust anyone. It has caused me to have emotional breakdowns and makes me feel as though I'm all alone in this world. It has caused me to make wrong decisions because I don't want to deal with emotions from the other person or myself. It has also caused me to obsessively overthink life decisions, which then causes the breakdowns. So, as you can see, narcissistic abuse is really abuse. It's something that you have to heal from. So, if you have situations like these, please check out the resources underneath this video and heal thyself. If you're currently in a relationship with a narcissist, you're probably going to need help. So the best thing to do is go to a professional. Call a domestic violence hotline. Talk to a therapist. Do something and get yourself some help, because they're going to do everything that they can to hold on to you. Because remember, the narcissist, even if they're messing with other people, because many narcissists do have more than one supply. Hannibal has about 5 supplies. I talked to his main supply. We had a conversation. And she was also instrumental in showing me the mask. Here I was thinking that he had this great guy mask on, And he has been abusing this woman the whole time he known her, and probably other people too. So a lot of times you're going to need help to get from out of a situation like that. And if you are in that situation or you have gotten out of that situation, you definitely need to go through what they call narcissistic abuse recovery. Now, you can do this with a therapist, a specialist would be a great idea, or you can get a book on it, like I have the specialty books on it, and do like some self-help work. But regardless of what happens, you got to do some work, because if you don't, as you can see, the effects of it can last you a lifetime. All right, guys. Now, I'm going to read some comments that were in the comment section that people asked me to answer for them. This one came from Rain Ivy 5091. Hey, what's up? Rain Ivy said, true. I'm an Aquarius, and so is he. He's become stalkerish. Oh, God. Let me tell y'all something. Wait till y'all hear this. You got to listen to this, right? He has become stalkerish and clingy now, though. So we have two Aquarius. One has become stalkerish and clingy. I try to end things, and he says, no, you're mine. Classic emotional abuser. And tries to use the authorities and call the cops on me when he can't control me. So when I saw this, I was like, that's a classic emotional abuser. So I said to her, he sounds mentally ill. You better be careful. And listen to what she said to me. She said, Queen, I thought we were just two emotional Aquarius and he's just misunderstood, ? I chose to respond to this one because this is classic abuse techniques. And she's lying to herself. She's lying to herself and she's making excuses for him because there's no way in hell. There's no way in hell you don't consider, or somebody didn't tell you that is not normal behavior. If somebody's controlling you and calling the cops on you when you try to get away from them, that is not just somebody who's emotional. That's somebody who's mentally ill, who's abusing you, and you probably don't see it yet. The same way the guy told us, Ron told us, that for 34 years he didn't see it, you're not seeing it. Maybe because you're trauma bonded like Greg. I don't know. But you need to see a therapist. Or call me. I'll be happy to give you a reading. You need to do something, is my point, and get out of this situation. This is not just him being emotional. This is him being mentally ill and you making excuses and not wanting to see it. That's what that is. The next one is from DGKQ6G6. Is it a trait for an Aquarius man to move quickly? I met 1 year ago and he asked me to move in with him out of state. Or do they ask things like just to pick your brain? I didn't go with him and he ended up passing away. Years later, I still wonder, what if? I wholeheartedly feel he would still be alive had we been together. It's a long story. I'm a Taurus, by the way. Well, first of all, you asked me, is it a trait for us to move quickly? No, it's not. Aquarius usually move really fast. Now, Aquarius usually move very slow to commitment. We might move fast to passion. We might move fast to, connect with you in that kind of way. But no Aquarius makes a commitment to live with you that quickly unless something is wrong. Also, I've come to find that situations like this, the person is often narcissistic because they're trying to get you hook, line, and sinker before you realize how bad they are. So before you realize that they're crazy, before you realize that they're mentally ill, before you realize that they're abusive. So they're trying to hook you in. So that absolutely is not normal. I would not do that with anybody. I wouldn't move with anybody a year. No, it's too fast. And like I said, even if they're not a narcissist, they could just be a toxic or abusive person. And they're trying to get you hook, line, and sinker before you figure out that. Okay. All right. Let me see. That was our last one. So yeah. So that is my story. And that is your stories. And that what has happened. That is how somebody who I thought was my friend was not really my friend. And I'm happy though. I'm going to tell you why I'm happy. Because I did the work and I'm still doing the work. And I chose me. I chose me. I chose what I wanted. I did not let some dude in a nice suit from a cameo from my past who had the worst sex I've ever fucking had. Oh my God, y'all. Oh my God. I mean, the first time, I only did it twice. And the second time was because I couldn't believe the first time was that bad. I was like, that had to have been a fluke, okay? But anyway, I didn't settle for this. I said, I'd rather be by myself and wait or just be by myself than settle. I chose me. And every day I get up and look in the mirror and say, I choose you. So do me a favor. You choose you. I don't care who the person is. If somebody is harming you in any kind of way, choose you. Choose to get away. Choose to get the resources you need. Choose to heal. Okay? All right, guys. So that is the Narcissist. That's the Narcissist tape. I will probably do an update on this based on your comments in the comment section. And you come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.